Hello, and welcome back to another placement breakdown video. In this video, we're going to talk about how we were able to successfully place a digital marketing manager role at a really well-respected educational institution here in America, and how we were able to get it done within 30 days. Before we get started, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Preston. I'm a professional recruiter running my own agency. If you're looking for your next dream job, you're looking for your next dream talent and hire for your team, please consider reaching out to us. We'd love to help you. And if you're excited to kind of get into this, to really understand how we're able to get this deal done with this amazing new client, please consider supporting a fellow recruiter. Give us a like, subscribe, click that bell, would really mean a lot. Let's get into it. So let's start off with the client overview. Our client happens to be a really well-respected and trusted educational institutional brand in America. We were able to reach out to them. We were able to connect directly with the hiring manager, who then introduced us directly to the head of HR. We were able to pick up this role, which was for a digital marketing manager role. And honestly, it was very straightforward. We only needed one call with the digital marketing manager role. We were able to kind of deep dive and really understand exactly what they wanted. They wanted someone who was okay with the manager role. They wanted at least someone with maybe like 2 to 3 years of experience. The highest that they could pay for this role was $90,000. They did offer amazing benefits, as you would expect at an education institution. Tons of room for growth, ability to be able to just grow with the institution as they're hiring like crazy. From these points alone, it was a really easy sell. If you are a fan of the school or you recently graduated, when we picked this up, this role was fairly straightforward, right? They also wanted someone that had a really good experience with email marketing, SEO, sales marketing cloud experience was really important, in addition to having someone that also was very comfortable working on data analytics, KPIs, dashboards, all that good stuff. So all of that tied into this role was pretty straightforward. I've done marketing roles for many years. I love marketing talent, very responsive, and some of the nicest people and smartest people you'll ever interact with. In my mind, this was a pretty easy role, pretty straightforward to pick up. The brand spoke for itself, and one of the biggest pluses of working with a client with a really already well-established brand is that if it's a good brand, if it's well-respected and trusted, then we don't really have to work so hard to pitch and get the candidates excited. We just literally have to tell them who they are, and candidates will be like, yeah, I know them, I'm excited, tell me more, right? So it's very easy. It's much easier for us recruiters when it comes to the outreach. So that's the good news. Hey guys, apologies for the interruption, but want to make an exciting announcement, so listen carefully. If you've been wanting to work and partner directly with me, we are creating for the first time a private community to let you do just that. In this group, you'll be able to access the open roles of my team and of others in the group, so you won't have to worry about not having enough open roles to work on and stabilize your business. Not just that, you'll also have access to accountability calls, trainings, private Discord channels, early access to new exciting stuff, and much more. This is perfect for all types of recruiters: solo recruiters, part-time recruiters, agency owners, full desk. If you are very specialized in one market or niche, or you work outside of the US, don't worry, we got your back. I believe that if you have strong recruiting fundamentals, you can also find tremendous success here as well. Candidates will have more job opportunities, clients will have a stronger pipeline of greater talent, and recruiters will be able to make more consistent placements. It's a no-brainer. So if you're interested, please click on the link below. There will only be a limited number of spots open at a given time, so make sure you act quick. Excited to work with you directly and see you on the other side. There were a couple things that in my mind could have made this a little bit more challenging. So the first one was the salary. So as I mentioned before, they were looking for someone with at least 2 to 3 years of experience. But when I spoke with them, they're like, you know what, ideally 4 to 7 experience would be perfect. But this is where your experience in a specific niche or market comes in handy, because I know market for digital marketing managers today, right, with at least 4 to 7, 8 years of experience, $90,000 is very low. So then I was able to share that with them. I was able to back it up with them with recent candidates that we placed, with the data from our database, and I encourage them to have an open mind to consider more junior folks. I'm like, if you really want digital marketing manager candidates with all of these things that we talked about, if you're not able to go a little bit higher the salary, it seems like they were pretty firm on that, then the next best suggestion would be would you be open to consider more junior folks? Because if you're able to do that, we'll still make sure that they have all the criteria, all the must-haves, but they'll also be within a budget that now is more feasible to the client. So after being able to clearly convey that to them, they got it, they understood, they gave us a big thumbs up. The second thing is that, like with many schools in the US around the world, a lot of times they're located in the middle of nowhere.
Who lives in the middle of nowhere?
They might be in an attractive state, but they're in the middle of nowhere, maybe 2.5 hours, 3 hours out of the nearest city. And so that's where the challenge arose here, because they really need someone in a hybrid office setting who is willing to commute, or if not, live there already where the college is located. And so when I heard that, I'm like, this could be a little bit of a challenge. I went back to the team and we started brainstorming what different targeting solutions or strategies can we come up with. So number one, I'm like, you know what? We should probably target the nearest cities with around the college with the greatest talent pool and see if we can get someone to reload or someone who's willing to maybe be okay with the move or maybe even commute if it's only 3 times a week in the office. I know that's a hard sell, but that was strategy number 1. The strategy number 2 is open up to folks in the greater state or maybe reload candidates in general who are willing to reload to this city, whether it's from that state or from other states. And then the third thing is try to target people within that immediate local city where the college is located. And that would have been tough because they needed someone experienced, they needed someone in digital marketing, and most of the economy in that city is fueled by the university, and all of the good candidates that would be relevant to this role would be already working at the university. So we did a multi-pronged approach. We attacked both passive candidates and did outreach for active candidates as well, and thought that, you know, the combination of this multi-pronged strategy would be very, very effective. And it turned out that it was. We were able to get our search started, we picked it up, and it went pretty smoothly. And just as expected, out of the first maybe like 10 candidates that we spoke with that came in within the first week and a half, almost about 7 or 8 of them, immediately the location was just not good. So then we kind of targeted a little bit closer to the immediate location of the city and closer cities and closer towns within the proximity of the university as much as possible, and being crystal careful on making sure we don't actually reach out to anyone working at the university. I think the easiest mistake, this is a little bit of a tangent, but if you're listening, this is very important. The easiest mistakes that you can do as a recruiter is create some sort of template that on email or message or cold call or whatever that you want to send to candidates, and then you just blast it out without even being really aware or intentional with who you're actually reaching out to. And what happens sometimes is that you'll be reaching out to candidates who are working at your client, who then tell your client you're reaching out to them, and that blows badly at you because the client's like, you don't know what you're doing, you're a horrible recruiter, why are you reaching out to our own colleagues or employees? You don't want that situation to happen. You want to basically slow down, be super targeted, be very intentional, make sure you avoid that. Back to story. I knew that this reload and the city location would have been a challenge up front. I didn't expect to go through as many people and then to receive as many no's as we got. I thought the brand would have been so strong that people would be like, you know what, I'm willing to just move and leave, break my lease and move and relocate to the city because this job is amazing. And so out of probably like 10 people, we spoke to probably again 7 or 8 said that they were able to do reload. We're able to speak with 2. One candidate, she was fantastic. She was actually based about an hour out from the city, so commuting was a piece of cake. She had everything that they wanted. We were able to submit her. And then the second one, who ended up being the candidate that we ended up placing, was an awesome guy. And we reached out to him because he had the years of experience. The only kind of semi-red flag concern I had was that he was currently working as a marketing director. So this is another tip for recruiters. If you're searching for a manager, you can of course reach out to current managers or maybe people who are leads or seniors who want to be a manager, but you can also do it the other way. Depending on the company, directors mean completely different, right? I think if you're a director but you're working at a small company, you just have an inflated title. If you're a director at a Salesforce at Amazon, that's completely different than a director at a startup where you have to oversee a team of 10, 20, 30, 40 people, right? Or a lot of times you're just flexible. Some people are flexible. They don't really care about titles. They really care more about what they do. So when we first talked to this candidate, he had a director title, but he had about 5 to 6, 7 years of experience. When I dug a little bit deeper, I understood that he had a director title because his current company is super small. He's the only marketing person. And they're like, you know what? You should just have a director title. So when you see directors, if you're searching for LinkedIn or Indeed or any other things, you don't want to just step past them and ignore them. You want to be able to take another 5, 10 seconds, look and take a gander at their resume and background and understand the context. If they have 10, 15, 20 years of experience and then they're a director, that's director more in a traditional sense. They're probably managing a lot of people, probably making a lot of money. Or if they have a director title with only 3, 4 years of experience, it could be inflated. It could be a situation like this candidate where he was one of 2 people, or if not the only marketing person, and the founders or CEOs of leadership just gave them the title. And obviously if you're young, who doesn't want to be called a director, right? But me being in recruiting for many years, when I spoke with him, I'm like, look, and I qualified him, I'm like, you have everything they're looking for, but this is a manager role. Like, are you okay with that? And he's like, you know what? I'm okay because I'm the only marketing person. Title's not that important. He ended up being one of those people where the scope, the responsibilities was more important to him. So everything checked out. We basically submit him and he just crushed it. He crushed it round 1, round 2, round 3. And by round 3, he did such a good job that they wanted to do 2 more rounds, just each a 30-minute phone call each with the VP of development and the president CEO as a formality. And by this stage, the first candidate I submitted also reached the round before final, but they ended up liking this candidate and who ultimately ended up getting the job better, that they just wanted to fast track him. And by the time that, you know, he had the conversation with the VP of development and the president CEO, we were pretty confident, but we were just also making sure that he took those seriously, even though they were more of a formality. And that's exactly what he did. You know, a couple of days went by, he ended up talking to the VP and the CEO on the same day. amazing reviews from both of them. And then I was able to connect back with the candidate, and he's like, I had just an amazing time, and these conversations just really elevated my belief and interest and excitement in this role. And the kicker is that he told me that the president CEO loved them so much. The president CEO told him, we want you in the org, and this is a very important role for us. You'll have tons of growth and opportunities. You'll be able to manage a team, just touch and do everything, which is everything what my candidate wanted. If he had any concern about this role, it was that he would have been sidelined or just meant to just do one thing in digital marketing, where he really wanted to kind of be more of a generalist, touch everything. And so everything, the further this candidate went throughout the process, it just became more and more aligned with everything. And while this process happened, I wanted to make sure that he was okay with 90,000. He was ideally kind of looking for 95 or 100, but he's like, you know what? I'm getting so much more excited about this role that I'm okay with 90. And so the calls came and went. He did fantastic as usual. Got an email from the hiring manager saying we want to hire him. Got an email from HR saying we want to hire him. I hopped on the phone one more time with the candidate just to scope him out, to see how he feels. No competition, no competing interview processes. He was okay with 90. He was okay with the manager. But then he asked me, he's like, hey, I'm okay with everything, but what do you think if I want to negotiate? When he said this, I got the first heart stop moment, because I'm like, oh, this could be the first real obstacle in this process when everything seemed to have gone perfect. When I asked him why, he's like, well, look, I'm happy with 90. The way I see it is I'm getting paid a little over around 95 right now. I just want to see and just try. And so when I heard that, I'm like, I felt so much better. I'm like, phew. I'm like, you know what? I totally agree. And this is my stance on negotiation. I think everyone deserves to negotiate. Everyone should negotiate. It is absolutely your right. If you are negotiating, make sure your ask is reasonable, back it up with data, and then make sure you give the company leverage. Like, if you were to do this for me, what can I do this for you? Something simple like, I'll just accept the job on the spot or sooner, right? And always start with how excited, how grateful you are about the offer in the first place to, set the foundation good. So I basically told him that, and he's like, you know what? I just don't want to have any regrets if I start this job. I'm like, you know what? I agree. You should totally do it. So he went there, tried to negotiate, and as expected, they stood firm. But because I did a good job in managing his expectations, and I was transparent with him from day one till now, no surprises. He was okay. He wasn't even expecting them to come back with anything. And then it just ended up being a really easy close. He verbally accepted. They sent out the offer, and he officially signed the offer with a start date next month. So all this to show that even though this was relatively straightforward, relatively smooth, no outbidding negotiation process, nothing hectic, and no real big red flags, concerns throughout the process, we were able to get this done by thinking outside the box, first and foremost with targeting, who to target, look at the data that comes in, and then adapt and pivot accordingly, and then making sure that we manage expectations for our candidate who was ideally looking for something a little bit higher, both in title and in salary, and being able to communicate that effectively, being authentic, be genuine, address any concerns throughout the way, so that when the offer did come out, there were no surprises, no blindsidedness. Everyone was on equal footing. Everyone was positive and happy about each other. As always, and ideally, we'd love to just see offer came out, verbal accepted, offer signed, start date agreed, signed, sealed, and delivered, and that's it. So really, really awesome to do another big placement before the holidays. Really happy again to the candidates, really happy again for the clients, really happy again for the candidate. Happy all around, and excited to see all the great things that he's gonna do. Hoping that this creates the foundation for us to work with this educational institution to work on many roles into the future. So I hope you like the story, feeling still really great about it, and just pumped for the next one. And I hope you're able to learn a thing or two about this and be entertained and given with value. So if you enjoyed this, please consider give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell. Really means a lot, and we'll see you on the next one.